Alright, this is kind of a silly video, but in order for me to memorize some of my scripts, I like to use a technique called the memory palace. So I'm just going to walk you through this, and hopefully you'll watch this video to the end and it'll all make sense. But if this is helpful, it'd be cool if you incorporate it into whatever your script or presentation is. And let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of thing. I'll make more videos for this because I really like the memory palace. I used to memorize a deck of cards in like 20 minutes, but I kind of forget now because you have to keep using it. But anyways, this is my front door, and right here I have this. Might not be for you. Why do I say that? Takes people off the hook. So there's no pressure. It's like, hey, thanks for your time on a phone call. This program might not be for you, but I want you to keep in mind, maybe there's somebody you'd think of that this program could be for. And then you just go into your presentation. That way it gets them off the hook. They're like, yeah, you know what? This probably isn't for me, but I'm curious. And they kind of lean in. Over here is the door. Would you be open-minded? Are you in a place where you can be open to some other ideas? And over here is my bathroom, which is, what do you know? I just imagine in my head that there's no toilet. And I know it's bizarre, but it's basically, you're asking the question about their business. You're asking the client about their business. You know, what's broken, what's not working, all this kind of stuff. So you ask them, what do they know about the situation, where they're at right now? Counter, my island's a little bit of a mess, but the island is, how would you feel if? And then the kitchen is, just imagine if I were to do the dishes for once. That's just imagine. So you get your client to actually start thinking, imagine if you implemented this program and you got 10 leads, 20 leads every single month, every single day. You're making 10K. What would that do for you? Imagine a year from now, all that kind of stuff. So over here would be if you're reaching out to someone, or you're in your presentation and you're asking them the question, you know, when were you thinking of getting this fixed? That's one way of asking. Another way that I like to ask is, when would be a good time to fix this problem that you're in? Time. See the clock? When would be a good time? Then over here is, maybe you've had somebody to do some homework, and or you've asked for a referral or something like this, and you can just simply send a text or an email or something that kind of takes the pressure off of them. But you just say something like, I'm guessing you haven't got around to reading the newsletter that I sent you, reading my email, watching this video, sending me a referral. I'm guessing you didn't get around to it. Then usually what they would do is they would either agree with you and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, and apologize. And then next thing you know, you get the lead in your email box. So that's that. And then over here, down here is you have 3 options. This comes up again and again in just about every good script that you'll find, is giving your customer 3 options. So you want to weave that in nicely in your presentation. So you could be halfway through the presentation whenever. Hopefully it's not at the beginning, but in the middle somewhere. And you can say, you know what? Right now you have three options based on what I've shared with you so far. You could do nothing. Just hang up on the phone and done. Or 2 would be, you do it by yourself, on your own. And it could take some time, energy, resources, money, all this kind of stuff. And you'll probably figure it out. You're smart enough to figure it out. It's just going to take more time. Or you can do it with me. So there's the 3 options. And then over here is, right here, coffee table is swaps. I call it swaps because basically instead of asking a person Do you have an email? Do you have a phone number? You want to change that. Swap that out and ask them, what's the best phone number? What's your best phone number? What's your best email address? Takes the pressure off of them a little bit. And most times they'll just give you their info. The other swap was, questions. If you were to ask, do you have any questions for me? It puts pressure on them. You don't want to put pressure on them. Instead, say something like, what questions do you have for me? If they don't have any questions, that means they're moving forward to your product or service. So just ask them. Could be 10, 15, 20 seconds. Just let it simmer. Let it simmer. Just, what questions do you have for me? That's it. Over here, what else do we have? Yeah. Table. Kitchen table. That's where I have, basically, that's where I sit, the head of the table. So it would be something like, you're probably a little bit like me. You know, so if they hum and haw and they're like, I need to think about it or whatever, you know, you kind of remind me of me, because I'm like that as well. You know, I like to think about things. Let me ask you, what is it in particular that you're thinking about? So that's you got to find a bit of commonality. And then over here would be, I missed one. Oh, there's two types of people. This helps people move a little bit forward, because sometimes they can't make decisions right on the spot. So you help them make a decision. So you can just say something like, there are two types of people in the world. One type of person likes to watch videos like this. The other type doesn't. Which one are you? Obviously, you like watching videos. And then over here is if, then. So if you were to jump into this program, you can expect to get leads in the next week or so. Then you'll be successful. So if then. So if you jump into this program, then you can start seeing how it works. That's one. And then another one here is my coffee, don't worry. Whatever they say, if they say something like, I don't know, will this work for me or whatever, you basically just put them at ease. Hey, look, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just put them at ease. Because the next thing, which is my stove, that is most people that have participated in this program are successful. They've gotten leads in the next week, 2 weeks, whatever. Most people, and they want to be attracted to that. They like that. They like being part of a tribe. So when you say most people make a decision right on the spot, you could say something like that. Then, what else? Oh, what happens next? So instead of waiting for that awkward moment where you've presented everything, you gave them the price, all this stuff, and they're like, it's awkward, you can interject and say, here's what's going to happen next. I'm just going to get some details from you, get your credit card information, and then I'm going to send you an email to your email box. What is your best email address? So you just kind of go into it. So you're letting them know what happens next, because they're going to be a little bit fearful. They're going to be like, oh, what's going to happen next? Well, you just tell them, this is what happens next. Then in a week, we get on the phone, we get on a Zoom call, and then we walk you through all the steps. It's our onboarding process. And then as I go up the stairs, it's a long video, lots to remember, huh? The stair is what makes you say that. So sometimes they'll say something and you got to ask them a question. I like the idea of actually mirroring them. So if they say, I don't think I can do this, then you would mirror them and say, you don't think you can do this? And just let it simmer. Silence. Silence is golden. Some people say, what do you mean by that? It kind of feels like a bit of a doctor. You're a doctor, you're superior over them when you start using words. Tell me more about that. What do you feel? What are you feeling deep in your soul? I just like to mirror them because it sounds like their language. So if they say, I'm broke, you're broke? That's it. Mirroring. Learned that from Chris Voss from Never Split the Difference. Then up here at the top of the stairs, at the top of your stairs is before you make up your mind. Because sometimes you might get a little bit of hesitancy where somebody's going to be like, I'm not sure. It's like, okay, whoa. Before you make up your mind, here's a couple things to consider. Most people are like you, whatever. You mix them all up. Then over here is my spare bedroom. And it's, if I can, will you? So if I can fit this payment plan, will you sign on the dotted line today? So say it's $7,500 and they're like, man, do you do payments? It's like, okay, if I could split it in half, where one payment today and the next payment next week, would you sign today? Yes, no, maybe so. So that's, if I can, will you? And then over here in this bathroom is enough. So part of that is giving them enough of your product or service. Maybe this will make more sense. If I say to you, this program for most people, 8 weeks is enough coaching, and they feel that they can get a grip on it and take off running. Do you feel 8 weeks is enough for coaching, or do you need more? Sometimes they'll say, no, 8 weeks sounds reasonable. So you want to give them more than enough. So if you know your program's 10 weeks or whatever, you could say, as most people, 8 weeks is good enough. Do you need more? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. It's like, okay, 10 weeks. Is 10 weeks good enough? Yeah, 10 weeks is good enough for coaching, whatever your program is. And over here to the bathroom, I have one more thing, because there's always one more thing to do in the laundry room. And that's where you put on your presentation just one more thing, one more question I need to ask you, one more thing. And it's almost like you're done the presentation, their guard is down, and they feel like, oh, he's not selling me anything. And you just throw a little curve in there. One more thing before you go. It works. And then over here, my TV set is, can you do me a favor? And that's usually at the end of the presentation after they've bought something from you and they're happy. You've worked with them, you're consulting with them, and you could tell they're like, thank you. As soon as they say, this is the trigger. As soon as they say thank you, that's where you say, hey, could you do me a favor? They're like, yeah, sure. Like, would you introduce me to one person? Is there somebody that you can think of that I can help? And if they say, yeah, I'm thinking of a couple people. Okay, I don't need to know their details, but just let me know, who is that person that you thought of? It's Joe or Gus or whatever. Okay, cool. Awesome. Would you be interested in facilitating an introduction between Gus and myself somewhere down the road? Would you be open to that? Most people say yes, especially if they're happy with you. And then over here, the last thing on the couch is curiosity. Just out of curiosity, I'm curious. Why did you say that? What did you mean by that? Why are we on this phone call? I'm curious. Why do you do it this way? Whatever it is. So try not to be rude about it, but you're curious. I'm curious. What did you mean by that? Then to wrap it all up with a nice little bow, in my office, sometimes what people do is they'll say, so how does this work? This is the answer to that. It works great. Just say works great. What kind of results will I get if I jump into this program? You're going to get good results. They're not wanting you to tell them all the details of how it actually works. They just want an answer. You don't have to give them the whole gauntlet. Just give them an answer. That's it. And there you go. So guarantee, this one, you can decide if you want to use or not, but a guarantee would be Usually they say something like, is there a guarantee this is going to work? I'm just like, yeah, 100% guaranteed. This is guaranteed to work. But if you don't work it, there's no guarantee. So, yeah, mix this all up, add it into your presentation. You don't have to use all of these, but there's enough here that you can incorporate into your script, into your presentation, into your webinar, and you're always listening for these little triggers that people say. So I hope that helps. I know it's a long video. I hope you got something out of this. Really appreciate it. Memory palaces are awesome. They're freaking amazing. If you can study that, learn how to memorize your script, all this kind of stuff, it takes you to a whole nother level with your presentations. So there you go. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to my channel. Like the video, comment in this video if you like this kind of stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.